This episode of the Helping Healing Humor podcast is brought to you by Faulkner University. Choosing where to go to college is a big decision, and Faulkner University is the right choice for many reasons. First and foremost, they're committed to biblical teaching. Each of their 85 outstanding academic programs infuse Christian principles into the curriculum and prepare students for professional success in their career and meaningful service in their community. Their main campus in Montgomery, Alabama offers an abundance of opportunities for internships, networking, and entertainment. Over 96% of their students receive financial aid, making Faulkner education a great value. Faulkner is a Christian university dedicated to helping you grow strong in your faith, and their family-like atmosphere will make you feel right at home. Check out faulkner.edu today.
Welcome into the Helping Healing Humor podcast with Ben and Travis, brought to you by Lads to Leaders. We hope you guys have by now checked out Lads to Leaders, looked at all of the stuff that they have going on, the different cities that they are. They're probably in a city near you, so hope that you can make that work for you come April time, Easter weekend, as it usually is. And we're coming to you from Challenge Youth Conference, or really the hotel down the road from Challenge Youth
Black
Conference.
Fox Lodge.
Lodge.
I'll get it out in a minute.
Day.
Yeah, it's been a real long day. So if you hear some sound going on, people are eating, people are enjoying fellowship and one another. So
because our wives are crashing.
Yes, they're asleep.
In the hotel
Thought we
room,
would jump on and broke 1,000 YouTube subscribers.
That is awesome.
So someone is going to be getting Apple AirPods or some shocks. By the time you hear this, you probably might be too late to sign up, but who knows? Go over to benandtravis.com.
Sign up anyway.
Sign up anyways, and you might win some of those.
Because I'm fairly certain that won't be the last one that we do ever.
Oh, no.
I mean,
no,
we're
always trying
constant.
to give stuff back. Giveaways. Try to do a giveaway a month, actually. Sometimes we hit that, sometimes we don't. But
sometimes it's not AirPods.
The goal.
But,
yeah,
you know.
Sometimes it's a sticker, a t-shirt, or something. But we try to give back to people who put up with us all the time.
And speaking of that, we also got over 2,000
email subscribers. Huge deal. You guys flatter us. I mean, you guys encourage us. I mean, wow, people who put up with us. And we kept hearing, thank you guys for doing what you do, coming and doing. But, it wouldn't be anything if there weren't people like you who are listening to this podcast right now. We launched on Friday, the Refresh Friday, the first episode with you, Journey to the Center of Your Soul, or to the Soul. And we'll be doing that every 2 weeks to begin with. So we hope that you check that out. I'll put that link down in the show notes as well, so you can check it out. It may not be Friday, but you can still check it out. We'll also do a TikTok video of that as well. So big weekend, huge weekend.
It has been a huge weekend.
We're closing out Batter Day, Ben and Travis Day. It's Ben and Travis every day for us. But Ben, you had a huge day. I mean, you had Ben and Travis, the game show, the videos. You then turned around and spoke to the crowd. Then you did Skits With A Truth, SWAT, and then turned around and offered the invitation twice.
Yeah,
all those things twice.
That's right. But it was awesome. It was a blessing for me. I know Larry was asking about it. You okay? You okay? And I said, this is awesome. Because I got to see it's really great, to see how the early session responds to things in the late session, and that's how CYC has been for a while now with early and late sessions. And, it was really great this second session, the late session today, really responded. And it was a lot of tears, and there were a lot of people coming forward. And a lot of times when you think about that at CYC, you think about the teenagers. And I know I saw multiple adults as well as a few college students and then several teenagers that responded in the latter one. Of course, we've heard all day of different baptisms. We got back here, and Dale was like, got another baptism, got another baptism.
All those ding his phone, and we're sitting there, and the light goes off. You're like, man.
There's another one.
Yeah, another brother or sister in Christ, which is really the point of all the things that we do, all the podcasts, all that stuff, is to grow closer to the Lord. And if you don't know Him, we encourage you, obviously, to get into that relationship. So, Ben, you got a lot more to choose from on this, but we'll bring it down a little bit. so performing with Skits With A Truth. Yep. Those guys, there's a wild bunch of guys. We have a blast. You never know what's going to happen.
Never know.
So without going into all the skits, if you had to pick one, or let's go two. If you one that was funny to you, okay, and then maybe one that hit spiritually a little more serious. If you could pick one from each category, what are you rolling with for the Lads to Leaders question of the day?
Oh man, I mean, I really do. I love the SWAT stuff. I mean, not just because we're a part of it, but I laugh from the sidelines a lot, and probably.
And you get challenged. I get challenged.
I do too.
And I do those, and they hit.
Trying to remember, and you're not only remembering lines, but then challenging. The message is challenging, but I think probably for me, the funny one is, and I'll say this not just for myself, but I think for a lot of people, because my wife said, "Hey, I'm pretty sure that's the favorite," and I said, "No, I'm not. It's not pretty sure. I know it's the favorite." Rico Suave. It is always a hit. It's always funny. Michael has this amazing way of making people laugh with his humor. And I just love it. So I think when it comes to that one, and it's just him, people always go, "Are y'all doing Rico Suave?" And we're always like, "We're not doing Rico Suave.
No, we sit back and laugh as much as anyone else."
And we've heard the jokes several times, and we still laugh at
the guy can act, and he's funny.
He's amazing.
So much of that, and then maybe not Rico Suave, but you got to stay on your toes at practice.
Oh, you
never know what him and Lonnie are going to drop on you.
Never ever. So. From the funny standpoint, I would say that one. From the serious one, I think for me, and this one I'm in, so I always hesitate to say one that I'm in, but probably the serious one for me this year, that kind of hits a little home. We've talked about my story a little bit with the loss of my girlfriend while we were in college. I think it was the skit where, we did time, and Derek called time. We were freshmen, and you were freshmen for the second time, and then we did the senior year, and then we did our after we were graduating college. And each time somebody in my group, was taken away into eternity, and it kind of ended with "You never know when it's your time." And so I think that one probably hit home as much as anything for me, even though I was the one kind of the last delivering that line. Every time I was delivering it, I was kind of feeling the chills myself. So I think that one kind of got to me a little bit more. So what about you?
Well, I'm going to go with kind of a combination. I think sometimes we have those skits that they're funny, and even some of the ones that end up being serious started off funny. There's one called the Jesus People, or Standing in Line.
Yeah.
And I keep breaking in line because I don't have any problems. Travis Creasy has a lot of problems, but the guy I'm acting does not have problems. And so all these other people are having problems, and they get to go in to the building of Jesus People, whereas at the last minute I get told my problem is I don't think I need Jesus. And I like those where it's funny. I get put in my place, several things kind of back and forth. But then at the end, you kind of get the boom, and it gets to the point that we all need Jesus. It's just whether we acknowledge that or not.
Yep.
And as I stated, that's what Challenge Youth Conference is about. It's a challenge, and it's challenging youth. But the beautiful thing about that is old guys like us can come and get challenged just as much, be a part of delivering a lot of the messages. But as I say all the time, and even we do this podcast, we do it about things that we need to be challenged on.
That's right.
And if I'm preaching, I'm repenting. So there's always hope out there as long as you're breathing air to get things on the straight and narrow.
I think there's something about, like, not just Challenge Youth Conference, but I know, you guys go to a whole lot of other things. Some people go to Exposure, and some people come to Challenge Youth Conference, and some of you go to camps, and you go to different things, not only kids, but the adults. I think there's just something powerful about that time together. I know a lot of people go to, and speaking of which, we got a man right here. Come here. Come on in. Come on in.
What y'all doing?
Look, we're podcasting right here.
Well,
come on in,
boys.
And we got,
ladies and gentlemen,
the Kyle Butt is visiting.
What if I were to tell you that you could be sitting anywhere and Kyle Butt shows up on a podcast?
So we're going to ask you the question.
Okay.
Which Skits With A Truth skit stands out? Which
one do you think about?
Which one do you like?
From all time, whatever.
I like the SWAT team this year really brought it home. And I really felt like the one that focused on a person's brain blowing up into a nuclear explosion. And I feel like that's kind of it's a no-brainer. No pun
There's no
intended in that. And that most people would take away from that the people in SWAT are so focused on what's happening at CYC that sometimes it gets all jumbled up.
It does.
They don't really know what's going on.
It gets jumbled up all the time.
I feel so exposed right now.
That's right. So, it's just such an emotional time.
So here's the thing: is like there's so many times that we're in practice going, okay. So we need. This is a perfect time to put Kyle into the skit. Like we're gonna put it right here. And Michael like calls an audible. He's like, "Guys, like Kyle's gonna feel bad about it. Like we've got to be careful.
Kind of wearing Kyle out.
We're gonna wear Kyle out. We're like
to,
Kyle deserves to be worn out."
I had at one time 2 feelings that both were crushed on the bow fishing boat with Lonnie Jones and Daryl Pickle, along with yourself, who would just chime in and be like, "Yeah, Lonnie, you got a point there." You wouldn't initiate the crushing of both of my feelings, but it would happen. And since those feelings have been crushed,
you can handle
anything left.
You can handle anything left. I mean, I feel nothing.
But we do have to throw into that your son would even crush your feelings when he falls into the water on the bow fishing trip.
Yes.
He goes into the water right after you missed a fish, and you pull him up out of the water, and you go, son, are you hurt? And he goes, "I'm hurt you missed that fish."
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
That
was quick.
I feel like maybe his mentors
Where did he get
not
that from?
moved him in the right direction. That behavior mostly came out on the bow fishing boat with Lonnie and Daryl. And so I guess what I'm sitting here at this particular juncture wondering is, where's the spiritual application in what you guys are doing at all?
We don't know.
You missed them all. Well, it was going that direction, and someone randomly showed up on the podcast. But hey, we'll take it.
We were asking what was the fun SWAT, and then what was the serious one?
Yeah,
what hit you seriously? So
okay, now
you want to answer that one?
Well, I have a hard time transitioning, but when
we do too.
When the person pays for the individual who is not worthy of going to college, and there's just a person who says, "Oh, I'll pay that," and the other person who made a 29 and got quad digits on his SAT, and he deserves to go, and yet the person who doesn't deserve to go gets to go. I'm serious. As I was listening, I was like, that's exactly what Jesus has done for us. Yep. We did not earn it. We do not deserve to go, but he said it's paid. So that was probably
pretty cool.
Hey, you do know that the fool for Christ, you might lose your spot on this team, and he says you might. That's one of your sermons, wasn't it?
I don't know.
I think it was Lonnie said.
Maybe it was.
He heard you say that. Maybe I'm wrong.
You
but
might.
I think
it might. It might be.
It might be. But I want to say it was a Kyle Butt sermon. He said
many sermons I've preached.
As in, you might lose your job. Well, yeah, you might.
Yeah. So you might. That's true. No.
Yep.
Yes, I remember.
Yep.
So literally, as you were walking up, I was thinking about your lesson, and I was going to make a somewhat maybe smart aleck comment about it.
Well, that's okay.
No, but my point was going to be serious.
Like
how on earth do you remember? So there's 2 options here. Either one, you have a photographic memory, or 2, you just make stuff up. Because there's no way a normal human brain can say all the numbers and all the stuff that you say. So we need an answer.
Well, sometimes there's something called a false dichotomy.
Okay.
And a false dichotomy, or the informal logical fallacy. Yeah, the informal logical fallacy there is the horns of a false dilemma.
Okay.
Where somebody says, here's option A or option B, and they don't address a third option.
Okay, so there's a third option. You're not photographic, and you're not making it up.
No.
There's something in between.
Well, no, you said you make it all up, or you have a photographic. And I think the third option is right there in the middle. That a lot of that I do know and remember and quote, and some of it might be, I'm not going to say fabricated. That's not the word I'm looking for.
Fabricated.
But some of it might not be exactly what would be something that if you looked it up would be the exact answer.
So I like that.
I'm not saying it would be inexact, but it just wouldn't be exact.
It might not be the exact numbers.
That's right.
But the things you were speaking were still true.
That's true.
Right.
That's true.
That's right.
So
That's
there
right.
you go.
I like it.
I
like
go for the one in the middle.
It answers a lot.
One right there in the middle.
But in all seriousness, great lesson.
Oh,
It's like my mind was like overloading as you were speaking, and then it was like you brought it to this great conclusion.
And you kind of want I'm trying to get serious, but you kind of want to say your mind was blown.
It was, but then
you just don't get to with the squat.
Well, a 3-pound brain, a 3-pound brain can cause the biggest explosion in the world, is what you said.
Well, not quite.
So,
maybe not more than 3 pounds of plutonium. But anyway, no. Let me do get back to I've been teaching on creation for years.
Oh yeah,
and have a lesson that I do on creation that I felt like a lot of the kids might have heard.
Yep.
And so I changed it up a little this time, but I've never really stopped to focus on that idea of our job really is just to bring glory to God, just reflect His glory in us. And then when you think, okay, this beetle does that, this piece of matter does it,
That's awesome.
the bar-tailed godwit does it. But what's interesting to me as you think about that is, but humans, even though they're designed to do it, could choose not to. And many do.
Yeah.
And so lots of humans who are put here to bring glory to God aren't doing what they're designed to do.
That's right.
And so, anyway, I think
what was interesting last night was as I was watching you, I was going, okay, he comes up with all this stuff. He's got all this stuff like right here. And I know I'm speaking in the morning, okay?
Oh, yeah,
and I'm going, and I'm going to be reading this off my phone, and I'm going to just be reading all my script right there off the phone.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, how am I going to pull this off? Because here he is. And then at the end of your lesson, you said, look, the whole point of this is to bring glory to God.
Right.
I'm just the camera. I'm just pointing at Him to show the world Him. And I thought, okay, now I feel good. I can read off my phone.
I can read it.
I'm okay
Because
it's not about me.
Anyway.
They're not
That's
looking
right.
at me.
That's
So
exactly
it was
right.
your lesson at one moment gave me a little, gave me some nerves,
right.
And then at the next moment it was like, you're okay.
Here it is.
You just do what you do.
Hey,
so it was awesome.
All right, Kyle, since you showed up.
And you're going to be
on
on our podcast.
No, I hesitate to say but because that's just too easy there. But it's too easy. Is there anything you'd like to promote on our podcast, a website, or I know that one time your son, was doing.
Well, my son is doing a solid webcast, and there are some cows.
Cows.
Yeah, there you go.
We have no idea what's going on.
This is going to be the greatest podcast. Yeah,
I don't know what
greatest
this
podcast
is,
ever.
but it is fantastic. Whatever it is.
My son's got a good podcast that, of course, comes out every Tuesday.
Sweet.
And Christ Daily.
You can go check it out, right?
Go check it out. And it's on the Ministry League.
Christ Daily.
Christ Daily.
Awesome.
Is the name of it. And he's been doing that now for several months. And
that's awesome.
It's some really good stuff.
And I'm sure you've got a website, right?
We got a website, Apology Express. Now, I guess the single resource I would promote would be our study Bible.
That is awesome. Yeah. By the way, I got one the other day. That is fantastic. It's good stuff.
And it's full color, 2,500 pages. First study Bible done by members of the church, and it's just got all kinds of stuff. All of our archaeological evidence, positive evidence for the inspiration of the Bible, and then organization of the church.
Places to put notes in it. In different places. It's awesome.
So I think we've got about 30,000 copies of that out in the last 2 years, which is for us phenomenal. And so I would promote that.
Awesome.
If anybody wanted a good study Bible for their graduating seniors, that will be coming up in May pretty soon. To be a great
thing man, it would be fantastic.
Well, this was not planned, so I'm going to say that again.
It wasn't.
But it's been awesome.
I was heading my room. In fact, I think I'm going to call. So,
all right,
good
man.
to see you guys.
Hey, love you, dude. Take care. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely,
dude. Well, folks,
there you
have it. There you have it. Ben, I appreciate your time. I know you're.
It's all good.
Rock and roll.
That was worth it.
That was totally worth it. So, but hope you guys enjoyed that. That was completely impromptu, and it will straight up be on the podcast and on Facebook Live. So, hope everybody has had a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.
Family devotional time. Fulfilling, organized, fun. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your strength. These commandments that I give you today are to be on your hearts. Impress them on your children. Talk about them when you sit at home and when you walk along the road, when you lie down and when you get up. Tie them as symbols on your hands and bind them on your foreheads. Write them on the door frames of your houses and on your gates. Moses' words in Deuteronomy 6:4-8 to the children of Israel in the speech that closed out not only his ministry, but also his life can be overwhelming at times and make us as parents feel like we could be doing more to disciple our children. In the fast-paced life that we live, we're usually just happy if everyone makes it out the door with their shoes on the correct feet. Planning and executing a family devotional time can seem out of reach. We're here to help. The Helping Healing Humor podcast has a tool to help you plan, organize, and execute a fulfilling and fun family devotional time for every member of your family, from toddler to teen. As a member of the Ben and Travis Patreon community, you will have access to tons of content at a small price that will help you grow your spiritual life, disciple your family, or even lead a small group Bible study. Patreon membership fees will help our podcast continue to be better and support the cost of creating and publishing the content that our Helping Healing Humor community has enjoyed. Go to www.patreon.com/Ben and Travis to sign up. Hit the link in the show notes for this month's special offer.
Thanks for being with us for this episode of the Helping Healing Humor podcast. Be sure to download our free ebook, 28 Days of Focused Living, at benandtravis.com and receive all of our Helping Healing and Humor extra content directly in your inbox. We look forward to having you join us at the same Ben and Travis time, same Ben and Travis channel.